Dave Shinsky of Baseball Rebellion here. I'm going to do my breakdown of Steven Strasburg. He's a 2016 All-Star. Could have started the All-Star game, but chose not to pitch in it. Probably a smart idea on his part. He's got to save his bullets, and I'll get into that and why he needs to do that. But I'm going to tell you a little bit about him. First overall pick in 2009. Had Tommy John surgery in 2010, shortly after his debut. Only threw 24 innings in 2011, but then had an all-star year, breakout year in 2012. He's a guy that in his 6 or 7 years of playing has not thrown over 200 innings but once, and had 215 innings in 2013. There's a reason for that. I mean, he's a guy, I remember in 2009 when he was drafted, he was a highly touted guy out of junior college, throwing 103, averaging 100 miles an hour, and, obviously first overall pick. He was going to make it to the big leagues pretty quickly, doing what he does. Reason why I think he's so successful this year, again, is because he's just learning how to pitch. And I'm going to go through that. So, for instance, scenario here, 2 guys on, 1 out, 2-2 count, top of the 7th. All right, he's a guy that, guy on first base, looking to kind of get a ground ball or again, kind of fool this guy with a fastball outside with a good location, and this is that's what he does. I think the hitter is looking for something off speed, and it's that's not crazy thing because he's got a great curveball and developed an awesome changeup this year. And again, I said he's learning how to pitch, and he's learning how to comfortably be efficient with his mechanics. All right, is it the most efficient? All right, for him, yes. All right, because he's been doing it for so long. But if you want to stay injury free, no. So as we go through his mechanics, again, he's going to be a guy that varies his leg kicks, goes out of a slide step, goes out of a leg lift, but in this one you'll see he kind of goes out of a medium leg kick and kind of comes up halfway. So we talk about here at Baseball Rebellion of getting our hips out and driving them down the hill, okay, and really getting our momentum of our lower half to kind of take care of our natural arm swing and using our upper body to stay back and just at foot strike then explode, okay. So we call it a drive, and what he would probably explain his movement of his lower half, especially the way he gets his momentum going, is a push. And I don't like to use that word push off. Again, this is due to the way he was taught how to throw and the way he threw since he was a little kid. And I just think it's a very big common flaw, and it's not what we teach, okay? So you'll see him as he comes into his load. They like to call it a load, where he kind of sits down into a chair and he gets his knee to go towards third base, okay? So from here, he's just not made any move toward home plate, okay? He's just basically sat down. He's going to move forward fast here, but again, he's going to get his body into bad positions by doing this first move of going down, okay? Again, what's taught in Little League and from the first jump is this glove got to go towards your target. What this does is it just creates a big separation between your glove and your throwing arm. Especially when you're as big as him and as strong as Strasburg, and your back leg is just taking you forward so fast. I mean, he can't control his upper body in the air because his arms are kind of going away from each other, and then his lower half is just moving so quickly at one move. Okay, so here you'll see his elbows kind of get up and over his shoulders. Okay, so we like to call this the hook and hike, and it just puts you into another bad position of now at foot strike. You'll see what I mean. His elbow is getting up too high, and that just means now as he gets into his front leg and front foot, he just doesn't get to an efficient enough position at foot strike. His shoulders are kind of squeezed together. If you can see at this position, okay, I could see his elbow. So we call this the inverted W kind of position, where he's kind of squeezing his scaps together, and now he's about to bring it all up. And what this does is that foot strike, okay, I would say this is foot strike, where he's not in an efficient place with his back arm, all right, to help him stay consistent. Okay, so I would like to see him in this position, but again, you could tell because of his elbow hike how close his ball gets to his head. All right, and again, why is this bad? It's because his movement forward is just not very efficient, and if you think about his spine angle, it's really, really forward, and he's opening up this front shoulder very fast, putting a lot of tension on his elbow as he's going to be going through the throw. All right, so I'm going to show you where at this part of his delivery, I'm going to do it one more click right here, one more frame, all right, and watch how far his elbow moves. Okay, so his elbow is really the one leading his arm, and that is incredibly bad because it puts his body and his arm in a bad position when he's in his external rotation. Okay, so his external rotation happens outside of his body, but again, if I had a side view, his elbow right here would be in front of his shoulder, okay, which is really bad when you're thinking about how hard Steven Strasburg throws and how big and strong he is. Okay, so if it's a guy like Sale, all right, he throws across his body, but also is a guy that's not so big in his upper body and strong in his lower half, and I think just he has a little bit more of longevity, even though Strasburg is throwing great. I think he has a little bit more longevity with his arm because he's just not as a big guy. From here, again, you'll see as he comes through his finish that he humps over and he doesn't really get all the way through. He kind of stops. And I kind of make an analogy of dry firing a bow and arrow. So bow and arrows are made to fire arrows and not be just pulled back and let go without an arrow in. And what that does is it kind of compromises the integrity of the bow and also kind of loosens up the fibers by just vibrating the bow and arrow without any kind of weight behind the push. Okay, so again, going a million miles an hour, okay, stopping his arm puts a lot of stress on, again, the smaller muscles in his arm, and getting through his finish just not a very, very good balance position. But again, having a great year at 13-0, 2.51 ERA, learning how to use his pitches to his advantage, throwing hard, really good overall pitcher, but his mechanics are just not what I would say as efficient to someone that's trying to stay healthy and use his arm properly or use his mechanics and body properly. I hope that he realizes that he needs to do something to help him gain innings, and all it is just being more relaxed and more natural, instead of kind of sitting down on that back leg and then pushing off. So if he just did one thing better, is get his momentum moving down the hill properly, that would help him tremendously gain innings in his big league career in life. All right, so this has been Dave Shinsky breaking down Steven Strasburg. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll be back pretty soon to break down someone else. And hope you enjoyed it. Thanks a lot.